Hello, everyone. Maryann here, revealing light, tarot, astrology, and spirituality wherever you are in the world when you're watching. A huge shout out to you. It's Monday morning here in Australia, and of course, we've had a huge weekend. Waking up as usual to the news coming from across the globe, from the United States, from the Trump government, and it feels to me like that government is imploding. That's what it feels like. Um, of course, there was a meeting in Geneva, Switzerland, between the Treasury Secretary and trade advisors and the Chinese government. The current president of the US. I always say that because I think he's always a whisker away from impeachment or something worse, some sort of downfall. That's what it feels like. He has lauded the meeting as a huge breakthrough, but of course we know the facts. We know that China's been playing hardball. China, interestingly enough, when you look at the financial graphs, the trade financial graphs for the month of April, actually did a lot of trade with other countries. So even as the US was pulling away from trade with China, China was ramping up its trade with other countries, and so it literally was not concerned about the loss of trade in America. Of course, they would be concerned. I'm sort of taking that. I'm being a little bit glib there when I say that. Of course, they would be concerned. However, the financials are showing, the trade financials are showing that they're actually okay. They're not in dire straits. And I think there of course is what they call stagflation or deflation in China. I know that the Chinese government is probably having to inject surplus their surplus money into the economy to cover what has occurred. However, the business that they're now doing with other countries in the world is increasing, has increased, is increased. They were prepared for this. On the other hand, we've got truckers, dock workers in danger of being laid off or have been laid off, factories letting workers go, and predictions around inflation and stocks shortages in the US. Trump is bringing the tariffs down. What was it, 250%, then 145%. Now it's 80%, or they're talking about it being 80%. And of course, we'll just see this gradual winding back of these chaotic and destructive tariffs. Okay. So today, what are we looking at? So we've got that, all of that still going on. And we have news coming out that the Qatar government is giving Donald Trump a $400 million plane to use as Air Force One during his presidency. But hang on a minute. It goes with him when he leaves. It actually becomes part of his presidential library. A plane becoming part, a $400 million jet. Of course, it has the appearance of a bribe. What is it? If it walks like a bribe, if it quacks like a bribe, it is a bribe. That's what they're saying. Okay. On top of that, we have the billions of dollars that are being done, or millions of dollars, $1 billion being done with the Trump meme coin. What I don't understand is why the mainstream media has not been more outraged. So we're going to look today. Is, does it break the emoluments clauses or laws, and does that meme coin, and will this lead, obviously, if power comes back to the Democratic Party, will this lead to impeachments? I wonder, post Trump presidency, if it will lead to any charges. We heard Stephen Miller, that I don't know what the word is for him. He always appears unhinged and a little, you know Trump's main policy advisor, has come out and said that they're going to suspend, they're thinking about or looking at ways to suspend habeas corpus, or in other words, the right to due process, a constitutional foundational law. Can they actually do it? No, because that power doesn't rest with the executive, it rests with the Congress. So, hardly think the Congress is going to do that. But it might not stop them from trying. This is in response to many, many losses in court over and over again. Why are there losses in court? It's not that the judges are corrupt or whatever else is being said. It's because they are breaking the law. I'll say that again. It is the losses in court are because they are breaking the law. Okay. Zelensky has announced that he's going to meet with Russia in the upcoming peace talks. Putin wants to talk directly to Ukraine. These peace talks are upcoming. Zelensky says he's going to attend. My immediate action was, is he going to be all right? A little bit of nerve gas sprayed into the atmosphere before he walks into the room. Would Putin be so blatant? Would he dare such a thing? I hope he'll be okay. We'll take a look. And can they reach any sort of deal? This is unconditional talks, meaning they go in with a blank slate. Let's see how far Putin wants to negotiate given the economic downturn in Russia. And does he want to come back in some way into the European fold, given the EU is pulling away from the US and moving toward, it's certainly in a trade sense, toward China and other Western countries? We'll have a look at how those geopolitical, I guess, influences might play out. The big worry here is between Pakistan and India for all of us, because there is now a tit for tat, bombs raining on either side. There's been a ceasefire reached. This was all very lightning quick. The ceasefire got broken. Both sides said each side broke the ceasefire, and now another ceasefire has been reached. The really worrying part was Pakistan is mentioning the N word. Why do I say the N word? The nuclear word. There was a convening of Pakistan's nuclear committee. Would they ever dare? Would any of those sides, India or Pakistan, both have nuclear weapons? Weren't things, according to MAGA, supposed to be safer under Trump in this world? To me, the chaos in the US is mirrored right across the world. And it really points to the fact, does the US actually have any sort of, does the Trump government, I won't say the US, because we know the good people of the US who didn't vote for this lunatic are actually trying very hard to take their country back. So, but the question is, does the Trump US government, let me put it like that, current Trump government in the United States, have any sort of influence over the world anymore? I think those days are gone. And this to me seems like not only is the Trump government imploding, but he's doing a lot of damage to US reputation. You know that, I know that, the world knows that. Who doesn't know that? Maybe the MAGA diehards. Though certainly Trump's polling is way, way down. I then want to look at the Pope's astrology, and then if I've got time, do a reading for the collective on the new Pope Leo. When I did some clairvoyant work about, 2-3 days, maybe a week before Pope Leo was chosen, I said that I saw the Hermit very, very, very clearly. I said he's likely to be a Virgo. He's likely to be in that, the Hermit image is of an older man with a staff and a lamplight leading leading through this deep reflection down the dark tunnel toward the light of, and I thought peace. I said he would put a huge emphasis on peace, and I do believe that's correct. Now, the astrology of the Pope, yes, he's a Virgo. The Hermit card is associated with Virgo. Um, Interestingly enough, he put in his first speech, I said he'd talk about peace and disarmament. He talked about disarming. What did he? He actually used the word disarming. Or in it, yeah. So the thrust of his speech was about peace. Now, one of my viewers pointed out, if I can get this up and read it, Maryann, you were probably the only one in the world who, uh, anyway, they're thanking me for the prediction. You said the new pope, he is holding the lamp like a hermit would. The new Pope Leo, the 14th, is from the Augustine order. The order emerged from uniting hermits in Tuscany who adhered to the rule of Saint Augustine. The order, the new Pope's order, uh, the branch of priesthood, if you like, that he emerged from, what emerged originally from uniting hermits in Tuscany who adhered to the rule of Saint Augustine. And he spoke about peace. So I don't know where this come. Well, I do know where these things come from. They come from my clairvoyance. How was I able to do that? Um, well, we're here because we all have a belief in spirit, great spirit, God, uh, Lord Buddha, whatever faith you come from. In my case, it's a deep spiritualism. Um, these images are given to me from spirit. This is very real. And so we look at being able to predict in the future events that haven't happened. And I'm humbled by that. And thank you to the viewers who listen carefully and do pick up these things from me. I am really grateful for your validation. Okay, so we'll look at the Pope's astrology in greater detail. Anyway, let's get going. I hope everybody's well. I really do. I'm using the Rider-Waite and the classic Llewellyn Tarot. I'll also be, someone asked for, I don't know, a tarot deck with a little bit of a focus on art. I'll do the art of life when we get to Pope Leo, the Pope Leo reading. All right, let's get going. So the first question is, we're going to Trump on a Sunday, Monday, whenever you're watching this. We do look at events in the US. Later on in the week with my second reading, we veer away from the constant noise around Trump and we look at global and spiritual matters. So, but this reading, we're going to look at Trump. Does the $400 million plane from the Qatar, does that actually break the emoluments clause? Because we're not seeing much on the mainstream media. As usual, does this plane, I mean, really, honestly, does this plane break the emoluments clause? And we know now that for all MAGA's belly aching, yeah, about, previous presidents and what they did, it pales into comparison into what this president is so blatantly in your face doing. Okay, no ifs or buts. All right, this is the tip of the iceberg because we get the high priestess here. There is something else that is driving this deal, if I can just say that, for entertainment purposes only, that we can't currently see. Oh dear, oh dear. It is a murky water that we're getting there. Look at the two cards that have come out in response. At the foundation is the World card, endings and beginnings. Okay, what has he agreed to do? He's agreed to end something on behalf of the something that would have a benefit for Qatar. Now, what might that be? But there is an agreement here. We might find out. Um, oh, 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 this has to do with Palestinians, I think. Ooh, this is the Middle East. Trump has agreed to do something to benefit Qatar in the Middle East. And as Qatar is has been so aligned with Palestine and Gaza, remember they were one of the Gulf countries that were giving Hamas funds to run Gaza. In fact, via Israel, via Netanyahu. Goodness gracious me. Okay, we've got justice here in the sky. Whew, 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 whew. All right, boundaries. Okay, so this is something around stopping something in the Middle East that would blow up the Middle East. This could be reining in Netanyahu. This could even be in relation to Iran. Trump's agreed to do something. That big plane bought some kind of deal that would benefit the Gulf countries. So we get illusion and delusion. We get smoke screens. Who would know this? Because the media aren't focusing on it. The media aren't joining the dots. The mainstream media, anyway. Okay, yep. Consistency. Right. A war in the Middle East is not in anyone's interest. The deal is to keep the peace, to keep the stability in the Middle East, and perhaps rein Netanyahu in to stop to somehow intervene in let's see. Let's see. Hamas have come out this morning, incidentally, and so they're giving all the American hostages back in the hopes and fears. We've got families, we've got peace. Yeah, unity, circles of support, some kind of celebration, and we get the Page of Swords, a truth emerging. Can also be the spy in the camp, can be the traitor with the dagger, and we get news. Okay, this is connected to stabilizing the Middle East. That's what it's about. There is a deal. There was a deal to be done. So we have holding back information, something coming to fruition in time. Yes, it's stabilizing the Middle East. And when the Middle East is stable, then you get this kind of financial stability for the Gulf countries as well. Okay, how can we test my prediction? It was in return for stabilizing the Middle East, to reining Netanyahu in, no attacks on Iran, perhaps getting out of Gaza. I've always predicted that Gaza will eventually go to the Gulf countries for management. It will not go to Israel. Wow. Policy being paid for. All right, let's have a look at the meme coin. I mean, seems to be so blatant. Goodness gracious me. All right, let's ask a general question. Will there ever be any charges that he's violated the emoluments clauses? Now, you can see how this is working. Oh, it's going to the plane's going to the Congressional Library as a donation to the Congressional Library. How is that against the law? Oh, the meme coin is the Trump organization, and I have put that I don't have any dealings with the Trump organization. I'm hands off while I'm the president. You can see how these things are playing out. But a little bit of investigation would show the direct link between paying money and accessing the presidency and the president's decisions. Whoa, the King of Pentacles, the businessman. Alrighty, you've got the club, the inner sanctum, the inner cabinet club where you pay $500,000, I think it is, for acts for dinner with Donald Trump. Okay, so will he ever be charged for violations of the emoluments clauses? Because unless this happens, then the next one comes along and does it, and the next one, and the next one. It sets a precedence. All right, so will Trump ever be charged with violating emoluments clauses in whatever way that pans out, impeachment or any other thing? So we get just despair, and then we get justice covering this despair. So there's some sort of justice that will be done and will play out, and it will. We get the Six of Swords moving out of troubled waters. I think this is how Americans feel, how the United States of American citizens feel about what's occurred with justice and Trump in their country. But we've got a positive card here at the foundation of the reading. The truth is on the table already. That's the past. Then we get Mr. Pentacles, King of Pentacles, the businessman in the sky, and then we get strength, the strength card. There's going to be strong opposition to to what's happening. I think that plane thing was just so blatant, the meme coins, but the base the base is still under the spell. The Wheel of Fortune's in the hopes and fears. Will he ever be charged? It's not going to a page of coins. There's not really going to be. These don't look convincing. We get the Judgment card. There's going to be change, and then we get okay. The fix for this, or the resolution to this, is more about strengthening those emolument clauses, codifying or strengthening them in some way in the future. That's what I see. I don't see a strong hand here of cards that would indicate huge charges coming out. What you could have is Congress maybe passing some laws um, in the future, maybe with, under Republicans as well. So let's not rule out that possibility, that the outcry is so great that it spurs Congress to clarify, or I don't know. Looks like there's something coming from Congress on this. When that would happen, I don't know. Okay, maybe after the midterms. All right, let's see. Would he be stupid enough to suspend habeas corpus, the right to due process? I mean, he's sort of like doing it now. He's already done it. He's not bringing back Mr. Garcia Abrego. Okay, he's not bringing him back. All right, let's have a look. So will they try and suspend habeas corpus? If it wasn't so funny. Okay, we get a deal done here, and the Queen of Swords, logic, the law, and we get moderation. I don't think they can. I don't even think they're going to try it. This was more to extort the judges. Justice has the upper hand here. Okay, so are they going to try it? I don't think so. We just get stability of the law here. It's more a fear, stoking the fires, and we get judgment, the Judgment card, which is a no card, by the way. We get almost like maybe trying with Congress, but campaign donations for 2026. It's like a bribe here. So yeah, they're talking to the Congress about it, but no. No, that's constitutional. They simply can't. It failed the last time Nixon tried it. Do you see the similarities here? Um, Even though Congress tried to in the Nixon era, it failed. It did not have the authority anyway to do that. Let me just turn down the phone so it doesn't disturb us. Okay, so all of this is to fire up the base. I mean, if we look at that rather than being outraged every time some nonsensical thing comes out, it's to fire up the base, it's to say something outrageous, it's to create chaos. Now, when Trump's indicated he might try for a third term, I said, no, he won't. He won't do a third term. Many people because I said I don't even think he wanted to do a second term. He wanted the grifting, but no, he doesn't want to do a third term. And he's come out and said, no, I won't be doing a third term. He would be over 82. He was not, this getting through the next few years is going to be difficult for him. He is concerned about the midterms and being impeached, all of that. No, he's not doing a third term. Okay, I never saw him as in the presidency after 2028. In fact, I don't think he's going to do a full term this time. Okay, let's have a look at the Russia-Ukraine meeting. Will Zelensky be okay? His security is not going to put him in any danger. All right, Vladimir Zelensky, are you going to be okay at these meetings? Vladimir Zelensky, are you going to be okay at these meetings? Vladimir Zelensky, are you going to be okay? Yeah, okay. So there's a boundary that they put around him to keep him safe. Um, I don't see anybody being able to penetrate that. They have him in that protective boundary all the time anyway. Many people have tried to get at him, but they just can't get at him. All right, so will Zelensky be safe? Just a few cards because we've got to get on to the Pope's astrology. So we have the Hierophant spirit, the government, and yeah, plan. There's been a lot of planning here. Yeah, it's just too. It's just too tight. His security is too tight, and I'm pleased to see that. Okay, I hope I'm right. All right, so a prediction is just a prediction until it happens and then it becomes a fact. Let me be clear on that. Um, and I may be right and I may be wrong. All right, this isn't fact until it has happened. All right, so please be careful about putting too much weight in predictions. I'm right often, a lot of the time, about 80% of the time, but I don't get everything right. Okay, so when you come here, you must understand that these are predictions and they haven't happened yet. All right, so can Russia and Ukraine? Oh, please, it would be so good. Can Russia and Ukraine? I do feel there will be a deal done. I've said that in the past. Can Russia and Ukraine do a deal? Can Russia and Ukraine do a deal? Can Russia and Ukraine do a deal? Can they do a deal in these upcoming? I'm seeing a lot of light. Manifestation, the magician, very powerful card, and planning and strategizing. It's got good energy around it. I think it looks like somebody, it's coming together, working. They've done a lot of talking already. Both are looking for a way out. The Page of Pentacles in the past, there's not a lot of financial strength in Russia, and I think, Ukraine needs a lot of rebuilding. Um, Three cups remaining and one cup. There will be a deal proposed. Okay, it won't give Ukraine all it wants because it is disappointed here. but there is one cup remaining. Okay, so we get debt, loans and debt, giving people a hand up. Um, these are pretty good cards. The strength card in the here and now, and we get the King of Pentacles, the business. So that's the mineral deal done between the US and Ukraine. That actually is elevating Ukraine's chances. There's Russia in the hopes and fears, abundance, in a season of time. Okay, so and then we get heartbreak and loss in the outcome. Money here. So they're going to want they're going yeah, okay, but then we get circles of support and celebrations and then loss, walking away. Um I don't see a concrete deal this time, but I think it just takes it closer. There could be an agreement on a ceasefire. Um difficult choices being made and victory. Uh, it's like almost Putin wants to be declared the victor to save his own skin. Um, it's the finances in the economy in Russia that's dictating this. He wants he wants the lifting of sanctions, and then we get the wheel of fortune change. Not all will be agreed to. Some things will be agreed to, perhaps a ceasefire, more permanent ceasefire. What is it, 30 days, a month comes out of this. Something comes out, but they lose on things as well because we've got that Three of Swords there, heartbreak and betrayal. Let's see. Can you clarify the Three of Swords? Because that would be a no. But it's clarified by the Ten of Pentacles, the High Priestess, something we don't know, and then the World card, which is good. There's an ending of something and a new cycle, and then we get courage and bravery and a plan here. So I see this is not a total loss. It brings us closer to a decision, the end of something. We get strength and we get pausing again. And again, the magician comes up. So I feel like there are some wins and some losses. I think it's a way off. The deal is a way off. But they're talking finances too. Why would they be talking finances? Um, yeah, and the government, the Hierophant. Yeah, there is a deal to be done, because I see that Ace of Cups there as well, but they lose on it's not this time, but they could come out with a more solid ceasefire. Putin wants Putin wants trade with Europe. Putin wants monetary type of stuff, lifting of sanctions, um, something to do with Ukraine cut off gas. Is it Russian gas? Maybe an opening up of those pipelines back to Europe. There is monetary stuff here that Putin wants. But that probably Zelensky can give him. Yeah, there is some outcome here, or the basis of further talks anyway. Okay, so Pakistan. Pakistan and India. My goodness me. Pakistan and India. Bloody hell. That came out of, well, they've been fighting for centuries, haven't they? Um, well, decades anyway, a century. All right, let's have a look at will Pakistan use a nuclear weapon on India? Will Pakistan use a nuclear weapon on India? Will Pakistan use a nuclear weapon on India? Keep seeing the Pope. I want to get on to the Pope um, because I'm seeing communion. All right, I don't know why that image is coming there. Um, will Pakistan use nuclear weapons on India? Oh, the Chariot, something getting out of control, and then a plan here. the Lovers card, relationships, alliances, the Queen of Cups, nurturing ourselves, like humanity. Why are you here again? And then we get the Death card, the ending of something, though this could be the ending of the war. For you, we get moving out of troubled waters. We get a deal, perhaps being done or nutted out. The Queen of Swords, planning, logic, the law, hopes and fears that it's just not a temporary ceasefire. No, they won't use nuclear. They're looking for a deal. They're looking for a deal here. Oh, we can breathe a sigh of relief, but we get strength here, showing one's strength in a crossroads. So again, it's another troubled spot. And we get things moving rather quickly. There could be some more aerial bombing, but I do feel that there is an inevitable walking away from loss here. So, oh God, I hope I'm right. I don't see, but they've got the death card as a potential, so it's very precarious. Um, Anything could happen, but I don't see nuclear war right there in that spread. I see more likely that there will be a peace deal done in that region. All right, let's go to the Pope's astrology very quickly. I'm conscious of the length of this reading, as I always am. Um, and then people say, no, I don't mind. I don't mind, but yeah, I'm just conscious of the time. All right, Pope Leo was born on the 14th of September 1955 in Chicago, Illinois. Okay, so what have we got here? Uh, for any of you who know about astrology, this Pope has a stellium in Virgo. So when I said he was a Virgo, the Hermit card, likely, again, we have to remember the key characteristics of Virgoans. They are hard workers, right? This Pope is a worker bee. He's going to get things done. No doubt about that. So he has his sun in Virgo, he's got his Mercury communicate. So essentially, he's Virgo. They are perfectionists, by the way. He will drive his team hard as well, but they also sacrifice themselves in their work. They give service to others because Virgo rules the sixth house, which is public service, and also can be obstacles as well. So why do you need a hard worker to overcome obstacles? Well, there you go. The world is very chaotic at the moment. He communicates in the way that he communicates about service to others, about the need for us to be charitable, compassionate, to help, give a helping hand, to live, to put an emphasis on service to others. And really that cuts across religions, because in the Buddhist tradition too, it is about service to others. It is about leading a life of selflessness. He has his moon, his feelings in Virgo as well. So again, I'm not surprised that he was a missionary, that he's dedicated his life there to, I think he took out Peruvian citizenship, so working with the poor as a missionary. Okay, so now we've got some good things happening with this stellium uh, as well, and there is trines. Let me see, a trine between his moon and a sextile between his moon and Mercury. It looks like the sun sextiling Saturn through to Neptune. Mars in Virgo. My mistake. I'm doing this blind, not blind, but without notes. I'm doing this on the hop. Sorry, Mars in Virgo. So again, pushing forward, driving his team hard. And you've got the sextile there to Mercury in Libra, so communicating fairness, social justice. No wonder the MAGA don't like him. And we've got Neptune in Libra as well. So what is he manifesting? Justice. What's coming into form? A mediator, the peacemaker, standing between two elements. One is peace and one is war, and he's able to stand in between and say it's not about the I, it's about the we. His blind spot can be around going. Almost being fanatical about that, because Neptune has two sides. It can bring something concrete into form, but it can also be out there, and, can be associated with sort of an illusionary type of his ideals of what's possible and what's not might be out of sync a little bit. So the moon sextiling Saturn in Scorpio. What is it? Mars sextiling Saturn in Scorpio. So this is Saturn in Scorpio is about transformation. It's about endings and new beginnings. But Saturn is the hard taskmaster, the hard work father time. He knows that this is a time when the world has to let go, humanity has to let go. Like, he is the perfect, I guess, bulwark against a MAGA and what MAGA does. What's MAGA doing? MAGA wants to throw away the rule of law. Yeah, get rid of that, establish an authoritarian. MAGA wants to close down USDA. MAGA's fine not having to help anyone. But it's always a two-way street. You help me, I'll help you. The United States under the Trump MAGA government has lost allies. It's lost trade. It's become isolated. And then you hear the counter to that, well, MAGA, America first is not America alone. Sorry, that those two things don't mean the same thing. If, friendships are about trade, friendships, good relationships between clans, for example, is about I've got something I can help you with, and you've got something you can help me with. And so we can help each other. If you don't have that basic tenet in a relationship, you have an abusive relationship. And other countries are saying, sorry, I don't want to be abused. Anyway, back to Pope Leo. He understands this only too well. And it's interesting that the transiting moon is sitting conjunct to his Saturn. So he's aware of the volatility. He is aware of what needs to be done. Did the conclave pick this North American Pope, although he has not lived in North America for many years? Of course, he's has a dual citizenship with Peru in South America. Did the conclave pick this Pope to try and counter the rise of fascism? I believe they did. I believe he knew it too. This is what he's taken on. And if you look at, if we go down here, we have his Jupiter and Uranus in Leo. So Jupiter is expansion. Leo is the lead, like able to put themselves out there. So even though he might appear shy and retiring, he does have that element where he can step up and inspire people with his words. And there is a trine to the North Node in Sagittarius. Sagittarius, the future, the hope, being able to inspire people. So when some astrologers looked at this chart and go, oh, he's a Virgo, bleh, very uninspiring Virgo. No way. That Jupiter here and trining his North Node in Sagittarius, the inspirational sign, the one that can inspire, the one that can take you and give you a vision for the future. In Leo, this man is absolutely able to do that. Now, with Uranus there, and Uranus in Leo, Uranus can be unpredictable. There is a square here to this Neptune in Libra. And so there I would say, I hope he doesn't not bite off more than he can chew, but understand that he's going to come. All right, let's just put it this way. He's going to, I hope he's going to come in, he's going to butt heads with MAGA, for example, people who are not quite there yet in their own evolution. And he's going to have high expectations there. But what needs to be remembered is something isn't come fully in form yet. So he could do some sort of he could perhaps give a speech that might shock a little bit. And why would that shock? Because there's a section there a section of the collective that are not quite there yet. It's still coming into form around the need for fairness and justice. But look, this Mars again, Mars sextiling the Saturn in Scorpio. This is transformational. This is somebody that can bring people along with him in the work that he wants to do. We do have a square here with his sun. Looks like Sun and Venus again in Virgo, Sun and Venus in Scorpio up to the North Node in Sagittarius. This isn't going to be easy for him as a Virgo. If this was an Aries or, I don't know. Another fire sign, for example, it might be easier for him because he's essentially a very Virgoan person. And Virgos prefer not to be in the limelight, yet he has a position of leadership and the limelight. Like when I say limelight, the public gaze falls upon him. People are looking for inspiration. So at times, it's not always going to be a comfortable role for him, but his North Node says this is what his purpose is. His North Node in Sagittarius, his purpose is to give humanity at this time the benefit of his wisdom with Pallas Athena there in a Sag, to give people the benefit of his wisdom. And to rail against what obviously with this trine there to Jupiter in Leo, to rail against this is Black Moon Lilith, so he'll have strong words against immoral type of action. He's going to call that out. And that's what we need. That's going to stop that share. That's what we need. None of this BS. Can I just say BS? Where we let things go, which are obviously wrong, immoral, corrupt, fascist even, where we just have that acceptance that this will be okay. No, this Pope will tell us, J.D. Vance, Jesus does not rank his love for people. That is what he's doing. Now, he may not be comfortable with all that Virgo there to thrust himself out there and say that, but he is, because that's his purpose. And that's that Jupiter in Leo speaking there as well, and trining his North Node. So those sextiles and trines, absolutely he's there, the right person at the right time. Did the conclave pick him as a counterbalance to the rise of fascism and MAGA and chaos and war in at this time? Absolutely. Giving us the better side. the opposite of MAGA, the North America, the United States that we all know to be compassionate, feeling for others, to to say, how can I help you? Well, and we help the United States because they say, how can I help you? So this insecurity that MAGA has about being ripped off, they're about to find out how much goodwill and using the US dollar as the world's currency, um, they're going to the they're going to find out how much goodwill they've lost or are losing. And it's playing out as it should spiritually. It's playing out as it should. All right, so show me 3 cards for Pope Leo. Show me change, transformation, Pope Leo. What can I? Okay, countering the lies. You'll hear him come out about truth as well. Show me 3 cards for Pope Leo. All right, I'm using the Art of Life Tarot, Ace of Pentacles. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life. Henry David Thoreau. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life. And when we can do that, we gain security. We plant the seeds of security. The 5 of Pentacles, resolve to be thyself, and know that he or she who finds himself herself loses his or her misery. Matthew Arnold. So authenticity. You don't need to be victimized. Oh, that's interesting. Where does the MAGA sentiment come from? Feeling like they're victims, a victimhood status, the working class that's been left behind by the oligarchy. Well, they elected an oligarch, and he brought his oligarchs all around him. That's very, very clear. It's knowing thyself. It's until if you don't have authenticity, if you don't really know yourself, you're going to be prey for everyone. You're going to be dominated, you're going to be conned because you're not sure of who you are. The Page of Wands, it's never too late to be what you might have become. So this is the inspiration here on a deep, deep level in the collective that this Pope will bring to. George Eliot said that it's never too late to be what you might have become. So that's where the inspiration comes in. He will be working with the collective parts that are disowned and bringing that collective back. The Knight of Cups, there's nothing half so sweet in life as love's young dream. Thomas More. The Lovers, the heart has reasons that reasons cannot know. Blaise Pascal. And the 4 of Wands, this is relationships with others. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Robert Louis Stevenson. And one more, King of Cups. It is a good thing to be rich and to be strong, but it is a better thing to be loved. Euripides. It's a better thing to be loved. Wealth. Goodness. Ooh. Anyway, he brings he brings forward several stark truths, or he will bring that into the collective consciousness. Now, I wanted to just for everyone, the Tao, I got these cards a long time ago. This is the Tao book and card pack. But it's very old. I got it centuries ago. Just a couple of, in the storm, what do we look for, this is what the Tao can give us. And I'm very much drawn to Eastern philosophies for that peace and discipline in times of chaos. I think they do that very, very well. So what advice for the collective do you have today? All right, so we have the condemned convict climbs the highest peak without fear. The condemned, yeah, when you know your fate, you can rise to the occasion. That's interesting because I see that's what's happening in the United States with people coming forward in such bravery to speak out at what is occurring there at this time. Soften your sharp edges. That's fairly poignant counsel, isn't it? And without desire or fear, every dilemma spontaneously arrives at a natural solution. So there's a lot here about fear and anger, and and moving forward with discipline and with will, the right use of will, not to approach things with anger, and to be conscious that fear will hold you back from solutions. And so I think it's incumbent on us all at this time, very important time, to step forward with bravery, without fear, and to be very grounded in our own intentions and authenticity. And we find peace and solutions when we reach that space. Thank you for tuning in, and bye for now.